Was curious about usage trends on AlphaClone, whether investors really knew how to craft an entire portfolio on the platform, or whether they were using it really just to source single stock ideas. So I asked Jadala.
Both, and both to a very high degree. And so I've had a conversation with managers where they combine their own insight and research on our site and executed a trade and that turned out to be successful. And then I also have just as many conversations with people who are waiting for the Tiger Cubs clone or the Value Masters clone or the International clone, or they like our core strategies and they apply those core strategies in client accounts.
I asked AlphaClone's founder how fast the company was growing.
Well, we have thousands of registered users, hundreds of paying members. We have grown revenue by 1,000% year over year, and we continue to accelerate our revenue growth. We're lean. That doesn't mean that we're virtual. There are real people here, and me being one of them. I think having the world having not ended right in 2008 gave people the opportunity to see that the approach that we take is really transparent. It's really it really does bring the best minds in stock picking, use them to derive investment strategies. There's really no fraud risk, right? There's no Madoff risk, I guess, in kind of what we do. And I think a lot of people were looking for a fresher approach to investing, and I think the fact that we brought that to the table, helped us. So we think the future is bright.
Underneath the covers, AlphaClone is really a content play. I was curious to ask Jadala exactly how content plays into their recent foray into actual asset management. Clients can come in and actually have AlphaClone manage their money for them.
That's really what we do. Our research platform is it's a technology platform, and on it, and then what it does is it generates all of these portfolios. Those portfolios are content, and really, the better job we do at telling each clone's story, right? I think the more interest that we'll be able to get from our customer base and from investors. And really, that's about curating, right, the content that's on our platform. We've gotten to a point now where I can't do that all the time, and so we need a really good writer, online editor who can take our core strategies, who can take our thousands of clones and begin to tell stories around those clones that investors can understand and that are compelling, and then syndicate that content through the blogosphere and the internet in order to get the kind of the message out around what we're doing. And that's a really important element of success, that I no longer can kind of do that all by myself, as you can imagine.
Maz, what about going forward? What keeps you up at night?
Our challenge will continue to be finding the right wrappers to put our research in order to maximize value for our clients and for us. And so, we've got a research business. We've got an investment account business that applies that same research. We'll be introducing a proprietary strategy that is only available in the investment accounts or on a sub-advisory basis. I think that's an important evolution for us. And then that proprietary strategy may also be the basis for a fund, a pooled vehicle, whether it's a mutual fund or a closed-end fund, that will make it even easier for both institutional investors, professional advisors, and individual investors, because the different share classes, for example, in a mutual fund, make it that much easier for them to access our strategies. And I think that's kind of what the future looks like for us, at least over the next kind of 24 months.
Maz, do you have any recommendations for our podcast listeners as to resources you found particularly useful, books, online, whatever?
I think there are like maybe a few places to go. Obviously, our help center on our site, AlphaClone.com, is a great place to start. There's a lot of information there about what we do. The FAQs are a great place to start there. Your book, Tradestreaming, is an outstanding place to learn about piggyback investing, especially with the examples that you use, and you make it very applicable for people to follow those examples in your book. So I would definitely point to people there. Meb Faber, who is associated with AlphaClone, wrote a book about a year ago called The Ivy Portfolio. There's a chapter in there about investing, piggyback investing, which I think is also very helpful. And I would say, beyond just piggyback investing, if people want to learn more, I think, about what it takes to be a successful stock picker, instead of reading books about hedge funds, I'd point them to a book that hedge fund managers love to read. And it's kind of a fun read, too. It's called Reminiscence of a Stock Operator. It's a famous book. I'm sure you've heard of it. But I think that book really brings home what it really takes in order to be successful in stock picking, and why a vast majority of both individual and professional investors underperform at that task.